Hello, my friends. For today's reading, we have the elephant as your significator. The elephant has a third eye that's lit up, oddly enough, with red light, and this elephant is also holding a flame in its trunk. So, we'll get to all that. So, your significator, of course, is the elephant. The elephant is unstoppable, auspicious, wise. The elephant is arguably the most auspicious figure in the deck. Like Ganesh, the elephant represents immense wisdom as well as good fortune. It is said that the great elephant is the destroyer of obstacles. So if this card appears when you feel stuck, rest assured the path will soon become clear. To add to the mystery, the elephant is also known to create obstacles in order to steer us in the right direction. Trust this gentle, noble creature. It illuminates the way with the light of self-knowledge. So I guess that's what the flame that it's holding? Self-knowledge? Sounds kind of hermity, honestly. Perhaps you found your inner light within, and now you can share your light with others, help guide them. When in balance, one-pointed focus, generous, loving. When out of balance, misunderstands fate. To bring into balance, trust. I knew trust was going to come up. I also believe that the elephant came out in yesterday's reading, the long form one. So I'm finding this very interesting. And I believe this card came out, and possibly this one, or that might have been the day before. Anyway. I just watched a video about elephants have been a recurring theme for the past couple days, I think. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised that the significator came out for you elephant people today. But I heard an historian talking about how elephants, supposedly, she wasn't sure about this, and I'm not either. I haven't done the research, so please make sure you do your research before you take this too seriously. But she said that when the poachers, well, I guess they still are, but when the elephant poaching for ivory was at its peak, the poachers took the wise old elephants, the ones that knew the way to the watering holes, knew the migration routes, could guide the rest of the troop. And so when the poachers took those wise old elephants, not only did those elephants die, but their troop would die as well, because all that were left were these younger elephants that didn't know the way. So that's one story. The next story that came to me last night was a video that I was watching about why do wild animals bring their babies to humans for help. There are many, many stories of wild animals of all different species all over the world. The mothers, obviously, usually, bringing their offspring, their babies, to humans when they can't help them anymore. They know their babies need help, and they apparently believe that we will help them, or we are the last chance. So they bring their babies to us. And elephants in particular are known for this, which is why they were mentioned specifically. There were a few species mentioned, dolphins, and generally birds, and whales, I think. But you get the idea. Our species, we are apex predators. People like to forget about that. They like to forget that we are conscious apex predators. That's what sets us apart from the other apex predators, the sharks and lions and whatnot. Is that we are conscious. And one of our weird quirks is that humans fairly consistently, not always, but fairly consistently will help babies of any species. It's something we do. Other species, usually, predators especially, they see an injured baby of any species, or even, something a little older, and they think food. They think dinner. They don't think, oh, we should help, or I should help this baby. But humans do. And we have done that with elephants. We've done a lot to build trust with elephants. And we have done a lot to build distrust. So trust, I think, is a really big issue here. The next card, in looking at the tea leaf cards, which are here to help you decide whether or not this is your reading, and these cards should be familiar to you in some sense. They should make sense to you. So we have fire, strong emotion, passionate love or hate. And we have frying pan, trouble, accusations. So once again, we have trust issues. Next, we have crib, birth or conception of a child or enterprise. So it doesn't have to be a child. It could be some other kind of undertaking, but it should be a really significant one. And rainbow, the most difficult part of a situation is over. That's interesting. Then we have rat, someone working against you behind your back, and pig, beware of greed. So perhaps there is a greedy someone in your life who is working against you, probably out of their own greed, not out of actual not out of hate, in spite of this card, although you may love or hate them depending on the situation. But there is definitely a call for some wisdom here in dealing with some sort of obstacle, which, as the elephant, you have the strength to do. But let's see what the tarot has to say. Why are you here? There must be a reason. What is on your mind? Oh no, you've got to be kidding me. Oh. Okay. All right. The Emperor. Someone who is capable of very consistent, persistent effort. Somebody who is a wonderful leader by setting an example, not through force. Oh. And the Seven of Wands, the need for boundaries. I think that's a picture, not a picture, but a painting of a microorganism called a teddy bear, I believe. I don't know why they're called teddy bears. They don't look like teddy bears to me, but I believe that's what they're called. Okay, so Seven of Wands in reverse. Seven of Wands, definitely a good, has to do with trust. I would, all right, I'll put it here because that's where it landed. I would have put it up here, but. Okay, so we have Seven of Wands, need for boundaries. All right, so what is the saying? Good fences equal good neighbors. Then we have the Emperor, the wonderful leader, the person who is consistent, reliable, has standards that they live up to, with everyone, with themselves most of all. So they set a wonderful example by being themselves, by being consistent, persistent, reliable. They show up, they get things done, they do what they say, they're going to do. And then we have a King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles is very close to the Emperor. I mean, you know, I don't mean just in this spread, I mean in general. All right. But then we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. Oh, the Three of Swords. So there has been heartbreak. Five of Pentacles in reverse, there is an awareness of self-destructive behavior, actions, and the heartbreak that it has caused. Six of Wands. But this is uncertainty. I'm a little puzzled by the Seven of Wands being in reverse. In the upright, there's a need for boundaries. So in reverse, perhaps the boundaries aren't there, they're needed even more, or so there's a difference between healthy boundaries and, you know, really going overboard. It could be a trust issue. So someone who doesn't trust anyone at all. I don't know how to express that. Paranoia, I guess. A feeling like there is nothing, that it's too much. Perhaps a feeling that trust cannot be rebuilt. But we have the Five of Pentacles, which is getting out of lack mentality, getting out of the scarcity mindset. We have the Three of Swords, that's moving through the grief, the mourning, the pain. And the Six of Wands, of course, is about success, public recognition, but it is, it's in the uncertainty position, so it's definitely not set up to a certainty. I think there's a great deal of uncertainty about whether it's going public with something or being seen or being recognized. What will the outcome be of being seen, heard? Will there be a claim? Just a lot of doubts. Oh, now the deck's closed. Okay. So things are not settled here. It could be that this Emperor and this King of Pentacles, these are aspirational things. I can't believe you got a double elephant. So we all need to develop our inner Emperor, the consistency, the trust and faith in ourselves, to be ourselves, to be that we are enough, that we are worthwhile, that our authentic self is lovable and should be seen, should be trusted by us. If you don't trust yourself, why would anyone else? Right? That's probably what you're asking yourself. But it does look like there's still some things to be worked through here. All right, let's see what the universe's perspective on this is. Learning to be heart-centered. Learning to trust your feelings, perhaps. I don't think you are very trusting of your feelings, of emotions in general, which, honestly, if you grew up in a European-based culture, then you probably are not too in touch with your feelings, especially if you grew up in a very repressive kind of home culture. Yeah, I can't believe he got going public again, too. Definitely some serious doubts about being seen and heard. Fear of the spotlight, maybe. But we have returning to the self. Whether you are female or not, I don't generally see the child cards as the gender of the child cards as being significant. It could be a suggestion that the so-called, the falsely labeled feminine aspects are implicated more than the falsely labeled male aspects of personality, of being human. So there's definitely a recovery because you got the boomerang there, but like I said, the child card also, that's returning to the self. So you also have luck. Luck is on your side. You have illumination, understanding, self-discovery, finding your soul spark. Maybe that would be exciting. So the clover can be short-lived. It can be a reward, a happy coincidence, luck, you know. But it also says short-lived. And it's on top of the gramophone, which was about being seen and heard. So possibly a situation that has been, or you fear will be, short-lived. Moose, imposing, powerful, independent, time alone. Attitude is everything. Cool, calm, and collected. Confident. I think it should be solidity, not solidarity. I might have to take a marker to that card. Secrets lifted, insight. Well, that would go right along with Firefly. That's the owl. So the moose. Moose do spend almost all their time alone. They're very large creatures, so they need a very large area to browse in to support them. So they can't really exist in herds, not in their climate anyway. So, yes, the moose is naturally independent, naturally spends time alone because that is their nature. They are not lonely. So I think that there's a real sense that a learning stage is happening for you with this illumination, self-discovery, soul spark, creative spark. You are in a becoming stage. You are beginning to see, to become aware. You're becoming more observant, insightful. Secrets are dissipating. Not because you're getting more information, but because you're gaining more understanding, more wisdom. And then we have the moose here. You are gaining strength through this alone time. You are solidifying and becoming more independent. So, we did have the Three of Swords coming out, so I get the sense that something happened that has caused you grief. And that is also requiring you to spend some time recovering, growing, healing, becoming a new version of yourself, a different version of yourself. We like to cast judgments on who we were, who we are, who we will become, but that's not actually very helpful. It's more that we are who we are, and we are the best that we can be at any given moment. We've always done our best. And if we can accept that about ourselves, then it makes things a little easier. Yes, it would be nice to do better. It would be nice to be better. And you can do that. Whatever better means for you. But you have to start by accepting who you are, what you are now. And getting to know yourself. If external help is what you need, then by all means do that. If being alone is what you need, do that. You know, you have to know yourself and understand your own needs so that you can meet those needs. All right, enough of that. I don't know what deck I want to get for you to finish out the reading. I haven't used this one in a while, but what the heck. The Illustrated Herbiary Oracle cards. They're big, bulky cards. A little difficult to shuffle, so let's see how it goes. Got a tiger. Tough love. Oh my goodness. That seems appropriate for this reading, honestly. I think you've been through some tough times. And maybe, it can be very difficult to appreciate tough times. Understandably, I think. Very understandably. I've been through some, I would say, way beyond tough times. And people talk about being grateful, but I don't know. Sometimes that just seems beyond reach. Tough love, lavender. People think lavender is soft, useful for shaping quiet space and calming rowdy children, but beneath her powdery scent is a hint of menthol. Smell it? That bite at the back of your palate? While lavender appears to be the down-to-earth and gracious grandmother who will soothe your soul and sing you to sleep, you're living a rare and blessed life if that's all you ever need from her. If circumstances should change, call on Lavender. She handles emergencies with military precision, keeping a cool head and a stout heart. She'd make a fine spy, field nurse, or leader of the resistance, cloaking her steely strength under a sloppy gray bun and the familiar scent of summer. When Lavender appears, it's time to ground yourself and dig into the task at hand. I think that's exactly what you need. To ground yourself and dig in and do the work, whatever it is. All right. I am wishing you all the best. Till next time.